Live from the Steel Twins recording studio in beautiful Traverse City, Michigan, it's your boys, the Cannonball, the Cannon, the Steel Twins. Good evening, everybody. It's Monday night, and you know what that means.
That's right. Voice acting night.
It is voice acting night, indeed. And per the norm, we have Misty Jin with us. Always good to see you. And Carlos, Keyblade Sonic, rather, is predisposed at the moment, but we wish him the best, and we're sure we'll hear his dulcet tones before long. Yep, I was just loading my windows. I knew I forgot something. But before we get started with the stream proper, Missy, I understand that you have another project besides your Twitch channel. Can you tell us more about World Seed?
I see. World Seed is a tabletop role-playing game that I've been developing for close to 3 years now, and it's entering its last stage of development. The rule set is all done. I'm just organizing my design notes into a proper book that'll hopefully be a little bit easier to read for people who aren't also designers.
So it sounds to me like it's kind of like a Dungeons and Dragons type thing, where there's like a DM, and then whoever's participating has to follow along with what the book reads. Is that what I understand?
Essentially, there will be one DM, but as with any collaborative storytelling experience, you and your players role play to make a story together, whatever that particular story happens to be. World Seed is a little bit different from, I guess, other TTRPGs. The fact that I built it to not only facilitate long-term role-playing games, like start to finish 300, 200-hour, 2-year-long campaigns and stuff like that, but also so that if you feel the need, or I guess if you feel the urge to just go ahead and hop into a quick game, you can just build a character in under 5 minutes or so and duke it out in whatever detail and whatever setting that you happen to choose. For example, if you so chose, you could run a small Ace Attorney case in the system and run a campaign just like that. You can run a full campaign that way, or just do one case just because. And all sorts of stuff like that.
That definitely sounds interesting. I know that there's the tie-in to the Ace Attorney series, but I've always thought about making I've seen creators make their own YouTube videos. I mean, the most famous one, or the most prominent one that I've seen, are those where they're just reenacting a dialogue of actual court cases and the quotes in these real life court cases are just as ridiculous, if not more so, than the Ace Attorney dialogue. So So I mean, that's something I thought about putting on the side, is obviously this sounds different, but I mean, I'm definitely interested. So when do you expect that the project will be finished with development? Any ideas?
As of right now, like I said, I'm nearing the end stage of development at this point, so I'll just be moving into converting everything to a more readable format for the average person. But cleaning up the skill section as of right now, but that's mostly just checking for spelling errors at this point. Thinking probably within the next 1 to 2 months or so, it should be completely finished. Right now, though, you can go ahead and pop into my card and you can get the free version, or the alpha as it is, and download that and use it however. And going forward in general, it'll be out there free for anybody to use the design document. I'll only be selling the actual book just because getting the artwork to do that will be expensive.
Of course. And where can users find your card? I take it that it's a website of sorts.
It is. If you're familiar with card.co at all, you can probably assume that my card is Mystygin. That is my name. MyStydjinn .card CARRD.co.
Okay.
And
I am going to
it's the
test
last
that.
one.
I am going to test that out right now.
You may have misspelled that wrong.
MIMY. Right. Of course.
Mhm.
There we
you
go.
are.
Yep. So there is World Seed. So for the chat here and everybody in the Facebook universe, I will go ahead and share that link. Just visit this website. It's mystygin.carrd.co, and you'll have the the front page there, and World Seed is one of the options. I'm clicking on it right now, and there is there's a base sheet. There's a couple pieces of documentation, but yeah, at your leisure, kids. Please check it out. Because we here at the Steel Twins Gaming are all for supporting our fellow creators.
Absolutely, no doubt about it. With that said, I think we're ready to kick this off here.
I think it is about that time, kids. So
We got ourselves some Mountain Dew Baja Blast Zero Sugar. If you got a cap to your bottle or a pin on your can, go ahead and pull that pin or twist that cap off your bottle. Because, hey, Cannonball, what time is it?
it's time to get bombed.
You bet your ass.
Cheers.
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna need it too.
Yes, sir.
Because we are fixing to go into the weeds here.
And we tend to go deep, brother.
Phrasing.
Sorry.
Had to do it.
Yep.
I mean, it was sitting right there. It was just like a tuna sandwich in a snare. And if anybody can get that reference, just know how old you are.
Okay. So here we are.
So Capcom here.
Autosave feature.
So the last time we left our intrepid heroes, we were trying the case of an artist who turned out to be a forger, and but the unfortunate victim passed away because he licked on a poisonous stamp of all things. But oh my word, he was just a victim of circumstance, as Curly would say. Because the forger, as it turns out, is our defendant. So what do you have to say about yourself, Ms. Vera Misham? And stay tuned, kids. We finally get to figure out what happened 7 years ago to cause Phoenix Wright to become disbarred from representing in a court of law.
And what was that? What was that forged evidence that caused him to get disbarred?
Yeah, all this and more coming at you right now. It is time to resume the trial in day one. This is Turnabout. Succession.
Lock 'em and load 'em, ladies. It's go time. Okay, so here we are. October the 8th, 1:24 p.m. District Court. Defendant Lobby number 6.
Okay. So where exactly does this leave us, Apollo?
Well, the Drew Misham who was killed wasn't Drew Misham, the forger, basically.
Huh? Well then, who was he?
Well, he was actually... doing her nails.
Now, does that mean she's actually biting her nails, or is that just a mannequin that with her nails on it? I'm curious. We'll find out in a minute.
Good question.
So, you really made those forgeries?
Yes, for Father. I know I was wrong.
Would you tell us how it happened?
My father was a painter. I loved painting ever since I was a child. One day, Father saw it in me. He saw that I had the talent.
The talent for making forgeries?
That's one way of putting it. Huh?
How should I say it? It was not only paintings I made. Given the materials, I could make anything.
Anything?
Anything?
Father was so proud, and I so happy.
It's kind of amusing that the contrast of images to her face. I mean, she's stone cold in the face, so she has to draw her emotions. It's right. It's before cell phones, really.
Yep.
But in the end, I was making those.
Forgeries.
I never had a good constitution nor personality.
That's as painfully obvious.
I know very little of the world outside my door. Now, because of me, Father is...
Do you know about this red envelope?
I remember that envelope. It was some time ago.
So you were already creating your works back then?
I started when I was only 12 years old.
So the one who figured out the stamp was poisoned, that was... Mr. Justice, it's time. To the courtroom, please. Right. Out of time.
Wait, Vera, just one more thing, please. Those 3 paintings in the studio.
I painted those as part of my work.
Right. See, we checked them out, and what we saw was underneath. And we saw what was underneath. We saw the rough sketches underneath the 3 finished paintings.
Yeah, and this was a trippy sight too.
Yeah, that threw us off a loop.
Indeed.
I see. Mr. Justice?
Yes?
Father, he knew of you. Of both of you.
Your late father?
Yeah.
He was watching, gathering information.
Huh?
All about the writing company law offices.
But lately, we're not doing just law.
Hey,
Scott
woo,
Ryan
Daddy,
has
Scott.
liked the stream.
Woo, Daddy. Thanks for the like, brother.
The fabulous one is in the house. Huh.
Yes, you do tricks, gags to amuse, and play piano.
Well, they're not really gags.
Yes, when Father heard you had resumed the legal business. How pleased he was.
Who was Mr. Misham?
Yes.
Beats me. How am I supposed to know?
What if he was Daddy's daddy?
Phoenix Wright's dad? Huh?
No way.
No.
Judging from the relative ages involved, I'd say it's highly unlikely.
Yeah, the math's way off.
Things are already confusing enough with all these daddies running around.
Yeah. How did Valent put it? Lord Daddy?
We know that the victim's daughter, Vera, was the forger. What does this mean for the case? Guess we're about to find out.
Well, she didn't kill him, but she's gonna get on the hook for forgery. Wonder how much time she's gonna get for that.
October 8th, 1:36 p.m. District Court, courtroom number 3. Order! All
I
rise!
have no idea who poisoned the stamp. Court is now back in session.
Vera seems pretty tense. She's practically chewing her fingernails clean off.
Perhaps you could begin by telling us how it all worked. How did you set up this Drew Misham forger persona?
There's that stare again. she's drilling more holes into his head.
Okay. That was odd. We're back, though. Okay, let me try this again. Oh, my screen share went away.
No. I'm lost in the void again. It's not gonna work. It's so cold.
Let me show you the light.
Perfect. I know it's hard for you, but hey, he's a handsome guy.
What's hard?
You don't want to know. Very well, miss. If you would, did you really make those detestable forgeries? Perhaps you'd rather answer my question. Were you the one who painted that painting? The remarkably similar one?
Yes. I painted it, yes. Father praised me quite highly for it.
So, she was the one who made the forgeries. Yet she did not wish to reveal the truth of their operation. So the victim was a stand-in, a decoy. To the world at large, he was the forger, not her.
I've done a bad thing. I have, haven't I?
Regardless, we need a little more information. About, for instance, this. You have seen this before, yeah?
Yes. It was in the desk drawer.
Very well. You may proceed with your testimony. Tell us everything you know about this envelope.
All right, spill the beans, lady, if you can. Witness testimony. Red envelope.
I created things and Father sold them. This envelope came after my first work. That was other than the painting. Father handled the deal. All of it. I received a stamp that was in that envelope. It was after that job that we moved to the current studio.
What? Wait a minute. I think we just
What job?
Let's go like a hamburger.
Indeed. There certainly was much of great interest in your testimony. Not that the witness realizes it. Very well, please begin the cross-examination.
Right. Okay. I need more information about this forger. This Drew Misham. This Drew Misham.
Yeah,
All right.
well, who is that guy?
Well, cross-examination time. We're going to get to the bottom of this.
I created things and Father sold them.
Hold it! So these things you were making are... You mean paintings identical to other paintings, right?
Yeah. What's up?
The stream kicked out for a second. We're okay. Sorry.
Okay, yeah, we're here. Yeah, I don't see any dropped frames on my end. Let me see here. Yeah, screen share still going. Okay, let's keep going.
The closer they were, the happier Father was. I was happy too.
Still, you're quite young now. When did you begin this work?
My first painting sold when I was 12.
Your Honor, she had no idea what she was doing was illegal.
Einspruch. Easy there, little attorney. You're not here to defend her for the crime of forgery. True. Please tell us more about this envelope. This envelope that may very well have killed your father.
Right. This envelope came after my first work. That was other than a painting.
Hold it!
Let's get some more information on that.
By other than a painting, you mean you'd only done paintings up to that point?
Yes. But Father had a realization. He noticed my talent extended to making things other than paintings.
For instance...
For instance, a letter someone had written, or a fingerprint left upon a cup, or a signature on a document, a seal upon a letter.
Oh. None of this makes her sound very innocent at all.
And the $100,000 promised in this letter was the start. The beginning of a new industry for Drew Misham. What new industry? The creation of items to be used in criminal proceedings. Whoa, that's heavy.
Yikes.
Forging evidence, in other words.
Uh-oh.
Oh boy.
Father handled the deal, all of it.
Hold it! So, you didn't know how the things you were making were being used?
Evening, Gov.
Evening, Gov. Breeze reporting for duty.
And by the way, he said duty. Yeah, we're. So here we go.
I enjoy painting very much.
I think I understand. The Fräulein has lived in an unusual little world.
Can you tell us what happened to the papers that were in this envelope? That was the joke.
Father signed them and I sent them back, I believe.
Did he follow the instructions? Send in the enclosed envelope with the enclosed stamp.
This is a rather important matter. Give your answer some thought.
Well, here it is.
I received the stamp that was in that envelope.
Hold it!
Nice drawing, by the way.
What do you mean, you received it? Beats me.
Did I do something wrong?
You didn't use that stamp because it was dangerous, correct? Deadly poison on the back, atroquinine.
Einspruch. A moment, Herr Forehead.
Huh?
You can't force an answer upon the witness. Now then, perhaps you would tell me, Fräulein Vera, why did you receive this stamp? Is something wrong?
It was beautiful.
Ah, you mean it was one of those commemorative stamps?
Yes, I think it was.
So, you didn't know about the poison?
Oh.
That's how you want it.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Ugh, I guess not.
So the trap failed by chance, by mistake, thanks to this commemorative stamp. Quite the close call. So how'd they figure out it was? So she basically just, a stamp, I'm gonna put it in a frame. It was dumb luck?
I'll be damned.
Okay.
It was after that job that we moved to the current studio.
Hold it! I put a deposit down on a car.
All right.
Nice. You mean you moved to where the current Drew studio is?
Yes, we saw very few people there. They began drawing picture books.
This single job had tied them to the criminal underworld. I'd think Mr. Misham wished to reduce their visibility in the world at large.
When we had to meet someone for some reason, Father posed as the creator of the work.
So that was the real essence of the artist Drew Misham. You did the work and he supplied the face.
So, you really didn't know anything, did you? You had no idea how much danger you were in. Apparently not.
About this commemorative stamp, could you tell us more about it?
It was very pretty, and more than that,
Yes?
it was a picture of people I liked at the time.
Oh, wait a minute.
What kind of people?
Well, this is something new.
I wonder if it's the magicians.
Oh, I'll bet.
Oh, the Gramrai troupe.
Bet you anything. Get ready to rock, baby.
He must have picked up on it too. Apparently, we've got some cross-examination yet ahead of us. If you would be so kind as to continue your testimony, Fräulein.
Imagine if it's a Gaviner's band.
Hey, that's a good idea, too.
I don't think so, though.
The stamp was a picture of my favorite magicians, so I kept it.
I knew it! What? Present, hold it! Magicians?
I love mysterious things. I always have.
Even though she fainted when she saw Mr. Hat.
Yeah, what did he... He's harmless.
You're confusing mysterious with freaky.
Oh, come on. He's not that bad, Apollo.
Father took me when I was very young. It was a great magic show. I loved it so much.
See? Isn't magic great?
Fine, great, yeah, sure. No need to get all excited.
Oh, you're such a buzzkill.
But the magic troupe we saw disbanded soon after. I was quite sad.
I find it mysterious how there could be such a big load of...
Let's deny that.
Nah. Did she just...
Actually, you know that... Oddly enough, it's a different word. Go ahead.
Did she just say what I think she said?
It says here, the magic troupe we saw disbanded soon after.
Whoa.
British humor, ain't it?
Magic troupe? Now, where have I heard that before? The red envelope came after she completed her first job. That makes it a letter from her client, whoever wanted the forgery made.
Oh, come on. Don't make... Oh, hold on. Oh, it couldn't have been Volant, could it?
Apollo.
We're close. We just have to piece together the parts. A deadly weapon in a red envelope, and the path it took to take Drew Misham's life. All right, go back to that last statement and present something. So she
Stamp
says,
was a picture of my favorite magician, so I kept it.
what about that ticket? You see that? It says, ticket to the premiere showing of Grand Illusion by the magician Valiant Gramrite.
You mean this guy?
Objection! Those magicians you liked, was it this bunch? Well? Oh my god, they are.
Apollo! They're not a bunch.
I see. Still, I have to wonder. Why include a commemorative stamp like that in a business letter?
Good question.
Man, Uncle Valen is getting more and more suspicious by the minute.
Well, pretty stamps are always better. You can't beat true grammar.
But the whole murder plan was a failure because of it. Ironic, don't you think, Prosecutor Gavin?
Uh-oh.
Prosecutor Gavin?
Oh boy.
Gramrite.
What's with Gavin?
Oh, that was the case he tried 7 years ago.
Uh-huh.
Might I ask just one question of this witness? In your testimony just now, you stated this was your first work that was other than a painting. Please tell me, what exactly did you make?
Can I ask why?
9! Answer the question, now!
Oh boy.
Schnell! Prosecutor Gavin, you're usually not the one whose volume concerns me. Yes, it is unbecoming of me. I apologize. But I must know. Please, Miss Misham, tell me.
It was a book. A single page in a book.
What?
A book? Please be more specific.
Uh-oh.
It was a handwritten book. Like a diary.
Whoa. He's gonna lose it.
No! I don't. No!
Oh, boy.
Oh, God.
A diary? Huh. Wait till you see the significance of that.
Oh, man.
What's wrong with Prosecutor Gavin? He looks like he just saw a ghost.
Miss Misham, this book. Was there a picture of a silk hat on the back cover? Yes, not, yeah or nine?
How did you know?
Objection! Prosecutor Gavin, the defendant is answering all of your questions. Stop badgering her.
He's told you nothing, has he? Your soiled, sullied mentor. Nothing?
Sullied? Who?
Phoenix Wright. Who else?
Daddy?
He never told you about the trial 7 years ago? About how he came to lose his attorney's badge? It was a certain piece of evidence that decided his fate, you know.
Wait till you see it.
A certain diary. On the back, it bore the mark of a silk hat.
What?
What?
Phoenix Wright tossed out of the profession by false evidence. And the forger who made that evidence is this girl standing right in front of me?
Whoa, God.
What? Vera, you must tell us. The evidence you made was used in the trial 7 years ago. Who asked Drew Misham, you, to forge that evidence? For all of our sakes, who was it?
Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
Time to get to the bottom of this.
We only met once.
You met the client? Well, who was it?
It was...
What's going on with Vera? She's staring at Prosecutor Gavin's face again. Well,
Yes, what? Is there something about me?
I remember clearly. I remember who gave me the book, the diary.
Who was it? Vera!
Oh, shit!
Oh no, she's passing out.
The devil.
Oh, clear! Get some medical attention now! Defendant Vera Misham, condition unconscious. The examiner's diagnosis: acute atrocanine poisoning.
What?
Huh?
no.
No
Oh,
way.
my gosh. This ends the recording of the trial for the murder of Drew Misham. Vera Misham was, during the trial, poisoned by an unknown assailant. The dosage was just under the lethal amount, sparing the defendant's life. She is currently in intensive care and is not to be disturbed for any reason. A very simple case, at first glance, until it finally began to show its true colors. The long road to the truth takes us to the record of another trial. In some ways, that was the starting point of it all. And that is where we must go. To find, isn't she adorable? To find the whole truth.
Yeah, if you played the original Ace Attorney game, Phoenix Wright, you'll
Yeah,
feel
that this music is it hits you different. Well, we have to keep going, but
yeah, it's only been 30 minutes. Let's go.
we have to save because you never know. And now we go to the trial 7 years ago.
Da-da-da-da-da.
Charge! I'll let you have
I can have Zach or Shady.
showdown time. Yeah, you can have Shady.
Yeah. I lost.
It's only a game of poker. A game I've played for a long time.
A game I've played for a long time and only lost twice.
Who was the first?
The man I killed, of course.
Well,
Seems I found the partner I've been looking for all along.
over a game of cards?
Why, yes, over a game of cards.
That was how we first met. 7 years ago.
Of course, I could be. Now I'm gonna be Dick Gumshoe. I know you, because
Oh, yeah.
here's the thing: you're the judge, you're Gavin, you're Phoenix.
Oh yeah, there's a
You
whole
would have,
lot
you'd-
of stuff
yeah,
going
you'd
on.
have too many voices. So,
Hey, that makes sense.
April 19th, 9:27 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby Number 2.
Whew. Okay, it's been a long time since I felt like such a rookie. Gotta try and relax.
Feel like we're in a time warp.
Ah, good morning, Mr. Enigmar.
I'm sorry to have sprung this on you so suddenly.
I received the files from your previous attorney only yesterday. Honestly, I'm not entirely sure I'm prepared.
I understand I am asking the impossible of you.
Let's do the time warp again.
Rocky Horror Picture Show for the win.
Yes, well, you haven't really told me what happened yet. All we did was play cards.
And that was enough.
Actually, it wasn't. Trust me.
Oh, morning, Daddy.
Ah, I am so glad you came.
You're okay, Daddy. Picking on you.
I am fine, as always. This old boy is here to help me after all.
That's young man to you. Good morning. That's a cute outfit you have on.
Thanks. My first show's today, after all.
Oh, I'm sure it is. The heck is she talking about?
Oh boy.
Huh? Me? Look what he started.
Here.
It seems fate's clock will make me wake a little longer. At least only less than 10 swift minutes remain. To all those who have supported me in my life's work, I give thanks. Farewell. Magnified Gramrai. Ugh. What's this?
I don't know. I just got it over there in the hall. They told me to give it to the old boy in the blue suit with the spiky hair. They said it was really important.
What's this? A memo for you or some such?
Not from the looks of it. What is this? Looks like a page from someone's diary.
Oh boy.
I'll give it a read later. Notebook page added to the court record. Mysterious paper received just before the trial.
Just wait till you find out how important that is.
Yeah.
So there's
So okay, there's the crime scene.
yeah, but
photo.
look carefully. Do you see
Yeah,
that?
okay, so there's a gun. There's a doll that's got a bullet in his head, and then there's a dot on that guy's head too.
Not to mention a
An IV,
a syringe.
What is going on here?
Here's this.
Magnifies autopsy report.
Magnified Gramrai, age 67. Estimated time of death, April 13th, between 11 and 11:30.
Cause of death: loss of blood from a bullet wound. Note: malignant tumor found in the victim's liver. Oh, so he had cancer.
Yep.
Yikes.
That's no Gouda. Well, how do you feel about the trial today?
We'll get through it. Somehow. Incidentally, the prosecutor today is a new guy, I hear.
Ah, an easy one then, yes?
They're calling him a true thoroughbred in the history of the prosecutor's office. Of course, there's one of those every year.
The switching of attorneys just before the trial. I know it's a difficult situation I put you in. But allow me to say one thing, Mr. Wright.
Yes?
They will not be able to pronounce me guilty today. So do your best, but do not worry.
First time a defendant's ever given me a pep speech. I'll do what I can.
I see you do not understand. You see, it would be impossible for them to declare a verdict.
Impossible?
Yes, isn't that right, Tootsie?
Yep. You bet, Daddy.
My first look at the case was only yesterday. and the information I was given was a tad bit lacking, to be honest. Still, I'll do what I can, for their sake.
I believe the curtains will be lit in any time now. I am in your capable hands, Mr. Light.
My client is Shady Enigmar. Known to the world as Zach Gramry. Whoa!
Oh boy.
So now we know why his name was Shady. A wildly popular magician, star of Troupe Gramry. His mentor, Magnify Gramry, was a rare breed of magician. He single-handedly ushered in a golden age of stage magic until he was shot dead. And Zach Gramry is the suspect.
Wait, Trucy's Hispanic. Okay.
Yeah.
April 19th, 10 a.m. District Court, courtroom number 7.
Yeah, I mean, so we now know that Trucy is Zach's daughter, for real. So,
Order, all rise.
Court is now in session for the trial of Shady Enigma. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Is the prosecution ready? I was just thinking, is this what all the fuss is about? Bit of a buzzkill, really. Buzzkill? Is this some new kind of crime? One of the worst. This is a trial, yeah? Where are the sweaty palms? The pounding hearts? A Gaviner's concert got 10 times the thrill this gig's got. Who were you again? Clavier Gavin. I came to get the party started. Legally, yeah? Gavin? Defense attorney Christoph Gavins? Figures my bro's more famous in this part of town. Clavier Gavin, lead singer for the mega hit band The Gaviners. You're out of your league, rock boy. I know what you're thinking. You're out of your league, rock boy. Huh? True, my debut single, 13 Years Hard Time for Love, went platinum overnight. But that's just a hobby to me compared to this, yeah? Talkative, aren't you? I like your affected Euro rock accent, by the way. I'm just getting warmed up, Herr Attorney Wright. Perhaps you would be so kind as to fill us in on the case. Achtung, baby. Time to call on the opening act. What was his name again? Yes. Detective Gumshoe. Hit it! Our old friend Gumshoe! And you are?
Hey, you were the one who called me up here, sir. Name's Dick Gumshoe. I'm a homicide detective down at the precinct.
Detective Gumshoe. Long time no see.
Hey, you!
Huh? Me?
Today's the day, pal. Today I win and you lose. I got confidence in my testimony today, see?
What? You normally lack confidence in your testimony? Here, detective, this is my stage. Can the antics.
Huh?
All this hey youing and such, and I could care less about your history together.
Ugh.
Very well, Detective Gumshoe, if you would. Please tell us about the case at hand.
It happened 6 days back in a room at the General Hospital. The facts are as simple as they come. Here's the crime scene.
Why is there no blood on the forehead? That's what I want to know.
Me too.
I mean, come on.
The victim was a patient asleep in a hospital bed. The killer comes in, puts a pistol to his forehead, and bam! Lights out.
I don't see any scorch marks on the wound either.
Them's the facts.
Not so long ago, the victim, Magnify Gramry, was a famous man. He had the entire country under his magical spell, as it were. Ah, yes, the great magician. He retired years ago, though. Say the name Magnify to one of my generation and you'd be lucky to get a blank stare. Yes, though I'm sure the youngsters today know his disciples even better. I dare say Troupe Gramry has made quite a name for themselves.
Yeah, anyhow, the retired Magnify's been in the hospital for the last year. What was it? A malignorant tutor or something? Doing something to his liver, I think. Yeah.
A malignant tumor, perhaps. In other words, he had liver cancer. He had only 3 months left to live, in fact. Magnifies chart added to the court record.
Diagnosed with a malignant tumor. Give it 3 months.
Damn. The facts do seem simple enough, but something's not right. The victim was already climbing a 3-month stairway to heaven. Why not wait for him to knock, knock, knock on heaven's door? Why shoot him? I wouldn't have put it quite so lyrically, but it's true. Why make the effort to commit murder when the victim was about to die?
Incidentally, the victim had a serious case of diabetes.
Double whammy. Diabetes? In fact, he was about to shoot up with insulin when he was shot with a pistol. The syringe was found at the crime scene. Chronic diabetes and cancer. As much as it pains me to say it, the victim was clearly at the end of his life. Small syringe added to the court record.
Used for administering insulin shots. He's washed and shows no signs of use.
I believe the question before us is clear then. Why did the killer have to shoot this dying man? What reason could he have had? Well, he bequeathed something in his will, remember, in episodes past. Very well, Detective. Perhaps you can enlighten us as to the circumstances of the shooting.
Yes, sir. All right, Detective, it's time for a little witness testimony. The circumstances. Actually, the victim kind of ordered the defendant to do him in. A few days before it happened, the victim sent a letter ordering his own murder.
Huh?
The defendant did what was asked of him and shot the old man in the forehead. The bullet was fired from the pistol found at the scene, no doubt about it. And the pistol definitely belonged to the old man, sir.
I don't know about that shit. What? You're saying the victim ordered his own shooting?
Gummy gums.
Those are the facts. I have the letter here in question.
I have here the letter in question, yes.
To my beloved student Zach, to you I entrust the lack of... hang on. Magnifies letter added to the court record. Letter asking Zach to shoot him. Very unusual indeed.
All right, here's what it says. To my beloved student Zach, to you I entrust the task of lowering my curtain. Come on the 13th, 11:05 p.m. I'll ready a gun in which you will shoot. One shot, square in the forehead. You cannot refuse, and we both know the reason why. Magnified grammar, right?
Well, what is that then? Okay. Very unusual indeed. Although, could such a thing as a letter really cause one to pull a trigger, I wonder? I believe the answer to that question can be found at the end of the letter. You cannot refuse, and we both know the reason why. Detective Gumshoe, can you explain this to the court?
Yeah, unfortunately, even the defendant won't say a peep about that bit, sir.
One thing bothers me about this. Why didn't he just say 11? Why have him come at 11:05 without some specific reason? The devil is in the details, Herr Attorney. Well, was there some reason? As it turns out, there was. Every night for a half hour, starting at 11 o'clock, the victim, Magnified Grammar, was given an IV. An IV?
Pay attention to the caller, though.
There it is in the picture, off to the side of the bed. At 11 o'clock, a doctor would come up to set up the IV. 30 minutes later, he would come back for the empty bag. This happened every night, without fail. So that was the only time they could meet without the chance of an untimely interruption. During his IV. Very well, shall we begin? Mr. Wright, your cross-examination, if you would. What's this reason he couldn't refuse, I wonder? Could have at least mentioned it to me.
All right, cross-examination time, Detective. What do you want to do? Bring up story mode or try to figure it out?
I'll try to figure it out.
Actually, the victim kind of ordered the defendant to do him in. A few days before it happened, the victim sent a letter ordering his own murder. The defendant did what was asked of him and shot the old man in the forehead. Bullet was fired from the pistol found at the scene, no doubt about it.
Hold it! You mean this pistol, the one in the crime scene photo?
That's the one. It's a funny looking gun, so there's no mistaking it.
We compared the bullet taken from the victim's skull with a bullet fired from this gun. The rifling marks on the bullets were a perfect match. So, you verified the murder weapon, in other words.
You bet we did. And the pistol definitely belonged to the old man, sir.
Hold it! Why are you so certain?
What pile of sand has your head been stuck in all this time, pal? You never heard of Zach and Valent's quick draw shoot 'em?
Huh? What's that?
One of the defendant's specialties. Zach and Valent stand on either side of a girl. Then they shoot. But the bullets don't hit her. Instead, they hit everything else on stage. This is one of the pistols they use in their show. Got a great design, huh? The kids love it.
Many boys and girls join the police because of that pistol, I hear. You know, that would explain a lot about the police force.
Troop Grammar, I stopped doing that act a while ago. The old man held on to that pistol ever since.
The court would like to see the pistol in question.
You got it, sir. Here she is.
Well, this truly is a blast from the past.
It's a stage pistol for magic shows, see? When it can fire real bullets.
Looks so much bigger in real life than on TV.
Yeah, but it can only hold one round. Well, now, pay attention to that. By the way, the pistol's firing chamber is empty. And it shows traces of having been fired recently.
So, were any fingerprints found on the gun? Unfortunately, no. Of course, the defendant is known for wearing gloves. We might say that a lack of fingerprints is, in fact, a fingerprint of its own. Aha! Intriguing point. Well made. Whoa. Not well made. Not intriguing. In any case, the court accepts this evidence. Stage pistol added to the court record.
Fires one real bullet. Barrel marks match bullet found in victim. No fingerprints found.
My grandchild would get a kick out of seeing this. But now it's time to return to our testimony. I didn't have time to gather all the details before coming in here. This testimony might be my only source of information. Better pay attention and read this letter carefully.
Actually, the victim kind of ordered the defendant to him in.
Well, we'll press him on the rest of it. Hold it! Just because he got the letter doesn't mean he went through with it. Oh, I disagree. The victim was indeed shot in the forehead after all, just as he had commanded. It could be a setup. But let's not be in such a hurry. Maybe we should let the witness talk for a change.
Thanks, pal.
Fine. I can play it swell. I can play it slow as well as I can play it fast. On with the testimony, Detective Gumshoe.
A few days before it happened, the victim sent a letter ordering his own murder.
Hold it. And this letter was sent by the victim, Maddie. Hi.
Hi, thanks for joining the chat. There it is. Gotcha. You're all mine this time, pal.
Huh?
I had the handwriting checked out, of course. It's the victim's, no mistake.
Ah, I see.
Score one for the boys.
I didn't lose. I was just ascertaining the facts. So why am I so annoyed? But a letter ordering your own death? Things aren't what they used to be, I guess. I'm not sure this is exactly commonplace even now, Your Honor.
So anyway, I guess I'll keep going while I'm ahead. The defendant did what was asked of him and shot the old man in the forehead.
Hold it. How can you be so sure?
Hey, you gotta learn to stop relying on people to do your thinking for you, pal. Learn to think for yourself. Get that noggin cranking.
You fail to grasp the concept of questioning, detective.
First, we got this letter. It says shoot in the forehead loud and clear.
I can see that, but I still wouldn't do it.
Well, maybe you need to grow yourself a backbone, pal.
You fail to grasp the concept of shooting people is bad, detective.
We also found the defendant's pistol at the scene.
Traces of gunpowder residue shows that it had been fired recently. Well, Mr. Wright, as far as I can tell from looking at this photo, there seems to be no issue with the prosecution's claim. Let me just take a quick peek at this.
I don't see any clues.
No clues on the gun.
What's this?
I always hated getting shots. I guess Magnify was giving himself the insulin shots. There's no way I could do that. Wait! If Magnify used this to eject his insulin, why are there no traces of it having been used? Something to keep in mind.
Oh boy.
Yeah, so that's something to think about. Magnify Gram-Rai male notes, malignant tumor in liver has progressed to final stage with no hope of recovery. Patient has 3 months to live. Patient has chronic diabetes, requires regular insulin. All right. Photo. Maybe there's something in there I can use.
Yeah, see that?
So they're saying the defendant shot the victim in the forehead. I think there's a hole in the prosecution's argument. Clearly, Mr. Enigmar
shot something else.
Shot something else. Looking at this photo, another possibility occurs to me. Yes? What does the letter tell us? That the defendant had a reason he couldn't refuse his teacher's wishes.
Bingo, pal. That's why the defendant popped him one in the forehead.
Oh? The defense disagrees. You see, the defendant had another choice he could make. Einspruch. What? And you can prove that with this photo? I can prove he had a choice. Yes. The defendant might have fired like he was ordered, but he didn't shoot the victim's forehead. Well, let's hear what you're thinking, Mr. Wright. If he didn't shoot the victim's forehead, what did the defendant shoot?
All
Right.
together, buddy.
Take that. The clown doll? Take a closer look. See? It's been shot in the forehead. It's been shot in the forehead, too. Ah, there's a hole in its forehead. Yes, and a hole in the prosecution's claim. Einspruch. And I suppose you have a reason as to why he'd shoot the clown doll? He didn't just shoot the doll, he shot the doll's forehead. His forehead. Ah! Let's read the orders once more, shall we? You will shoot one shot square in the forehead, which is exactly what he did. He shot the clown doll square in the forehead.
Cheeseburger.
The defense has raised an intriguing possibility. That hole in the clown's forehead, it definitely looks like it was shot. Bailiff, send someone to investigate this matter. Einspruch. I admit, I'm impressed, but I expected nothing less. Still, this doesn't mean he didn't shoot the victim. Objection! Perhaps he did have to shoot a forehead as ordered, but the letter says nothing about whose forehead. This was the only way he had to follow his orders without taking a life. The bullet hole in the clown's doll's forehead does demand an explanation. It might very well be a clue. Yet Prosecutor Gavin is right. It alone does not prove the defendant's innocence. You cannot say for sure the defendant didn't shoot the victim. Yes, we can. So sorry, Mr. Wright. How sad it is to see the mighty fall. How sad it is to see the novice's overconfidence. He doesn't realize just how big this little hole is going to get. Detective Gumshoe, please take this newfound fact into account as you continue your testimony.
So what if he shot the clown? He still shot the victim, pal.
Well, there's only one real bullet, right? Objection! The trickiest cases often seem the simplest. Prosecutor Gavin, you missed the bullet hole in the clown's forehead. If you hadn't missed that, you might have come to a very different conclusion. Understand?
Yeah, but like I just said, pal, after he shot the clown in the forehead, he went and...
Objection! Did nothing of the sort to the victim. The pistol proves he could not. The murder weapon? How? It's quite simple, Your Honor. This pistol only holds one bullet at a time.
Yeah.
If he had shot the clown in the forehead, he couldn't have shot the victim too.
Yeah.
Einspruch. That's not a contradiction, not even close. All he had to do was reload the pistol after the first shot. Objection! Oh, where did he get the extra bullet? They're not so easy to come by, you know. If you claim the defendant had one ready, then prove to us how he got it. I had a feeling this wasn't over yet. No, this party's just getting started. And I haven't proven anything yet beyond my good looks and startling record sales. An utter lack of humility. What's this? It seems that the prosecution has another witness prepared. Like I said, Herr Detective was just the warm-up act. Now that the audience has got the taste of what's to come, they're ready. Ready for what? For my decisive witness, of course. A witness who you will find can prove one thing for us. That it was Zach Gramry who shot the victim in the forehead. Very well. We will pause for a 15-minute recess. This might be my lucky break. I need that 15 minutes to talk to my client, Zach. Court is adjourned.
And to be continued, gotta keep going.
Gotta keep going. Truck, truck, truck.
It's only been an hour, and we've already gotten intrigue. So we got proof. So a decisive witness, eh?
Yeah, I wonder who this decisive witness is.
It's not what you think, but we probably know that all along. April 19th, 11:21 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby, number 2.
Very impressive, Mr. Wright. I have to say, I expected nothing less.
We've only just begun. I was hoping you could tell me a bit more about what happened, actually.
I did not think you would believe me if I told you. Better that you discover the truth for yourself. I was thinking of you, you know.
I think we need less thinking and more talking. That night in the hospital, what really happened?
The way your eyes gleam, Mr. Wright. You're scared trucy.
Speaking of which, where is she?
You have seen the problem yourself. The letter.
The one shot in the forehead one, right?
Yes, and the reason he speaks of. I could not deny my mentor's wishes, even if it meant my own death.
Why not?
This is something I will not say, for now at least.
Oh, come on, man. What's this for now business?
I have done many things in my life, some well, some poorly. But this is a cross. This is a cross we must bear alone to our graves.
We?
You wanted to know about the night of the incident.
Finally. This guy sure likes to take his time getting to the important stuff.
Of course, I had no intention of shooting my mentor. I snuck into his room that night at the appointed time. And found there upon his bedside table 2 pistols.
Oh. 2?
Yes, the one I had used on stage. And the one that had been used by my partner, Valent.
Oh, for the Zack and Valence quick draw thing.
My mentor had the look of one sleeping. I stood by his bedside, hearing only the light sound of his breathing. Then I took the pistol into my hand. I cannot deny that my resolve faltered then, for a moment.
You faltered? You mean you thought about shooting him?
Recall there was a reason I could not refuse his request. His last such request, though not his first.
So, there were other requests you couldn't refuse before?
To be honest, I've not always been steadfast, and I fear I brought pain upon Tulsi.
Was Magnify coercing his disciples somehow? Just what was going on in Troop Gramrai? Yeah, what indeed?
Yet, in the end, I did not shoot him. Instead, I turned and shot the clown. I took the pistol I had fired and placed it in my pocket.
In your pocket?
I believe if you examine the bullet in the clown's head, you will find it to be different than the one in my mentor. What were those called?
Rifling marks.
Yes. Well, that is all I have to tell you concerning the case.
Well, so we know that the other pistol was used to kill him then. I'd still like to know where the blood was. They probably edited it out. Concerning the case, you mean there's something else you can tell me?
You are a fascinating man, Mr. Wright.
Thanks.
Yes, there is something. My mentor, his eyes opened.
What? Magnify Gramrai?
The old devil. He was not asleep, you see. Of course, the gunshot will have woken him anyway. And then we had our last discussion as mentor and pupil. It was not a long discussion. Maybe 5-10 minutes or so.
Oh, okay, so what did you talk about?
Mr. Wright, did I not just tell you? It does not concern this case.
Zach Gramrai. He seems pretty steadfast to me. Or maybe just stubborn. Mr. Wright, your presence is required in the courtroom.
Once again, I am in your hands.
Right. Let's get back in there. Oh, man. Like, what the heck is going... There's the will. There's that sealed letter that freaked Valent out. Ugh, this is so weird.
April 19th, 11:37 a.m. District Court, courtroom number 7.
Court is now back in session. During our recess, a bullet was found in and dug out from the clown's head. Well, this is news. And the rifling marks? There wasn't time to do a detailed analysis, though they did find the weapon type matches the murder weapon. Well, that's not very conclusive, is it? Which is why I'm about to call my very decisive witness. Your decisive witness? How many times have I heard those words? Though they often turn out to be far less decisive than you think. Oh, don't worry on my account. I'm quite confident this witness will do the job. After all, he is intimately acquainted with the players in our little production, being the other half of Troop Gramrai's famous duo, Zack and Valent. Valent Gramrai. So, we get to meet the great Magnify's other disciple.
I'll take him.
Yeah, I was thinking about that because there's a lot of roles I'm taking.
Yes.
And plus, I like that the voice that you can do
I know
for him,
what
too.
I know what you're talking about.
Perhaps we'll start by asking your name and occupation.
Valent Gramrai. Magician.
And you're the decisive witness, are you? You can prove your fellow student, your partner's guilt?
Fate. The grand illusion. Filled with traps and tricks.
Wait! The shooting took place in that hospital after 11 o'clock at night. If you're a witness, does that mean you were there that late?
If one were to deduce this logically, the conclusion is yes!
Okay. I always get the characters, don't I? I have an interesting fact for you. You see, several days before the crime, my witness received this. That looks very familiar. Wait. That's the same letter Zach Gramrai received!
Yes! Or perhaps I should say, ta-da! Rumble, rumble.
Order! Order! And what does it say? Surely not the same thing. Perhaps you should see for yourself. Oh, except that it's a different time. To you, I entrust the task of lowering my life's curtain. Come on the 13th, 11:20 p.m. I will ready a gun with which you will shoot one shot square in the forehead. You cannot refuse, and we both know the reason why. Why, it's practically the same. The court accepts this into evidence. Magnify second letter added to the court
Letter
record.
telling Valent to come at 11:20.
This is most unusual. Exactly what was going on with you folks? What exactly was your troop grammary up to?
What you mean?
I'm just having trouble envisioning a man who would ask his students to kill him. Both of them, no less. It's just my opinion here, Judge. But from these letters, I'd say he was coercing them, not asking them.
We walked the magician's path together, and in so doing, shared much of our lives. When people are so close, there is strain, a warping of relations, you might say. Yet this has nothing to do with the case at hand.
By which you mean you're not going to tell us. Which makes me wonder even more about this reason they couldn't refuse. Well, let's get on with the testimony for starters. The defendant, Zach Gramry, stands accused. Tell us why.
Oh, I'll do more than that. For where he walks, the red roses rise, singing hymns to the miracle that is magic.
Fascinating. Though I hardly need to remind you that the evidence could just as clearly point to you as the suspect. The letter, the murder weapon, and now the 2 bullets found at the scene. In fact, the only difference seems to be the designated time.
As every magician knows, timing is everything.
Yes. And now it's time to get this party fired up.
All right, time for a little witness testimony.
So let's see. Zach's talked with Magnify for like 10 or 15 minutes, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Valent would have come in as Zach was talking to him. I suppose.
That night, I visited the hospital room at the time Magnify requested. The smell of gunpowder hung into the room, and my mentor had taken his final bow. I did not imagine my fellow student might have received the same instructions. Yet a deal with the dead is still the deal. Death's sweet kiss I gave to the clown.
No, that's all. I don't know.
Then I informed the doctor and the police.
So you were the one who reported the crime.
Indeed, I would think. This fact alone would clear my name of suspicion.
Let's not jump to any conclusions. Yes, the cross-examination generally comes before the conclusions in this court. But if your testimony proves to be true, then the defendant, Zach Gramry, is guilty. And if it wasn't Zach Gramry, then the killer was you, Valent. And no disappearing act will get you out of that.
All right, cross-examination time. What are you going to do? That night, I visited the hospital room at the time that Magnify requested.
Hold it. Which, according to the letter, was 11:20 p.m.?
Indeed. In magic, timing is everything.
Right.
Consider the illusion of teleportation. If I were to appear on stage before my stunt double has left, how would that look? Why, it would reveal the very secrets of my magic.
Now that you've revealed the very secrets of your magic for all of us, let's move on. You went at the designated time, and what did you see?
The smell of gunpowder hung in the room, and my mentor had taken his final bow.
Hold it. So, you weren't worried for your own safety at all? I mean, you smelled gunpowder, yes? What if the shooter was still nearby?
I do not consider this, to be honest. It is forbidden for a magician to have a good imagination.
Oh, that's rich. Really? Isn't magic all about illusions and imagination? How about this? You were the shooter, which is why you weren't afraid.
Now you are the one imagining. It is forbidden for a lawyer to have a good imagination.
Oh, shut up. The witness will refrain from pausing so suspiciously before responding. My forbidden imagination is starting to imagine things.
I did not imagine my fellow student might have received the same instructions.
Hold it! Which brings us back to this reason neither of you could refuse.
So it does. And my partner, he did not refuse.
But Magnify wrote the same thing to you. Why could you refuse if Zack couldn't?
Because I have a will of steel. Of course, I also do this trick where I bend steel bars. So perhaps steel isn't also strong.
So which is it?
Mind if I continue? Yet a deal with a deed is still the deal. Death's sweet kiss I gave to the clown.
Hold it! There were 2 bullet holes at the scene. One in the victim and one in the clown. You're saying the one who shot the clown was you?
No doubt my partner Zach said much the same thing.
Yeah, because whoever didn't shoot the clown committed murder. I'd better dig around here a bit more and see what I turn up. Mr. Valent, let me ask about something else concerning the crime scene. Namely,
The number of pistols, maybe? Yeah.
I'm thinking, meaning the location of the pistol. How many pistols were there when you entered the room?
By which you mean what, precisely?
2 pistols were used in the Zack and Valent quick draw shoot 'em, correct? One for each of you.
You're well informed yet. Only one of my old friends sat in the hospital room that night.
Aha. What did Zack tell me back in the lobby?
Of course, I had no intention of shooting my mentor. I snuck into his room that night at the appointed time and found there upon his bedside table 2 pistols. I took the pistol I had fired and placed it in my pocket.
I see no problem with that statement. Only one pistol is visible in the photograph of the crime scene after all. So you picked up that pistol and fired it?
Indeed I did. Alakazam, alakazing, alakaboom.
Is the number of pistols really so important? Quite important. The number of pistols is quite important, Your Honor. Very well. Please add this detail to your testimony.
What can I do but obey? Only one pistol was in the hospital room that night. With it, I shot the clown.
Hold it. So you took the only pistol there and fired it.
That's correct.
And that pistol was this one, which was left at the crime scene?
Good show. I see you too are a magician of sorts.
And you're an idiot of sorts. You have any idea what you just said? I see the fire in your eyes as you glare at the witness. So how about heating up this trial a bit? These slow ballads bore me. Got a hunch, but maybe that's all it is. Maybe I should ask about something else. The location of the pistol. Oh, no need. On second thought, let's run with this testimony for a while longer.
And I informed the doctor and the police. Well, let's see. What about that pistol?
Objection! Okay. According to the defendant, Zack Gramry, when he entered the room, there were 2 pistols on that table. 2? One of those pistols he used to shoot the clown in the forehead. Then he left with it in his pocket. Of course, this is what he would say. Unlike the hapless clown, we must assume that our defendant has some brains in his head. Well, what about what Mr. Valent has told us? You see, there's something about his testimony that doesn't make sense.
What might that be? I told you, I took the pistol that was there and shot the clown.
That's your story, at least. But the rifling marks tell a very different story, Mr. Valent. Recall what Prosecutor Gavin told us. We compared the bullet taken from the victim's skull with a bullet fired from this gun. The rifling marks on the bullets were a perfect match. Mr. Valent, if you fired this pistol, then you shot the victim in the forehead.
Cheeseburger.
Order! Order! Well, this is all rather sudden. Einspruch. What have I done? Prosecutor Gavin? I owe the court an apology. Sorry. Sorry for what? You see, I was unaware that 2 of these unique pistols were crafted. The analysis of the rifling marks only proved the type of gun that fired.
Objection! But that's not what you told us before. You said you'd verified the murder weapon.
Which is why I'm apologizing to you now. Quite sincerely, I might add. Would you hold me accountable for a mistake made in my youth?
That was just this morning.
I am still young, and I might add, it wasn't really my fault. If the defendant had only admitted he took 1 pistol to the scene of the crime, we would not be having this pleasant discussion now.
Valant Gramrai?
Yes, Your Honor?
You were presented to this court as a decisive witness, but you've proven to be more divisive than decisive. Einspruch. You'll see in time.
Huh?
The testimony so far has merely been a review of the facts. The proof comes next.
Here we go.
Care to elaborate, Prosecutor Gavin? When Mr. Valant entered the hospital room, the victim had already been shot. As his next testimony will prove, Herr Wright, the real fight is about to begin. Bring it. Very well, the witness will now testify to the court. Help us determine who shot what.
Well, let's wrap it up quick. Witness testimony. Who shot what? I arrived at the hospital room at the appointed time, which is to say 11:20 p.m.
So far, hold on a second. Let me double check that. That's what he said.
Yeah, that's what he said. After discovering the body, I fulfilled my obligation, then called in the doctor. The doctor examined the body before the police arrived. He was quite clear about the time of death, 11:10 p.m. I don't know about that. I don't think so.
Well, what does the autopsy say? It was between 11 and 11:30. Cause of death, loss of blood from a bullet wound.
How could he be so sure about that?
Yeah, so I have to press him on that.
And the one in the room at that time was my partner, not me.
So how does he know it was 11:10? Those times are rather close, you have to admit. You're talking about an alibi established over a matter of minutes. To use a 10-minute discrepancy as the basis of your alibi is easy to explain in this situation here, Judge. For example, take our debut hit single, 13 Years Hard Time for Love. Cue to the song, press the play button, and it will play for 2 minutes, 15 seconds. Do it 100 times, the result is the same. Her debut single was only 2 minutes and 15 seconds long? What a ripoff. Magic is a world of utmost precision. Hocus pocus requires an admirable focus. And in time of death determined by the doctor, there is an incontrovertible truth. Very well, the prosecution warns us that we're dealing with rather precise times, and we can expect the cross-examination to require the same level of precision. I would hope the defense refrains from its customarily broad, sweeping accusations, lest we blur the focus this case so clearly demands. Point taken. Baseless remarks will result in a penalty. Carry on, Mr. Wright. Carry on, Wright.
Let's see what story mode tells us. That way we can avoid those baseless remarks. I arrived in the hospital room at the appointed time, which is to say 11:20 p.m. After discovering the body, I fulfilled my obligation, then called in the doctor. The doctor examined the body before the police arrived. He was quite clear about the time of death, 11:10 p.m.
Yeah, I predicted it. I don't think I'm stepping out on a limb to say I have some doubts about this. How could the doctor be so precise with the time? We do only usually get an estimated time of death, true. I'm not sure I've heard of a verified time of death.
Magic revels in making the complex appear simple, but reality is the opposite. What appears complex in this case is a simple matter of subtraction.
I see another person has done their arithmetic homework. The point here is the IV the victim was taking. It's quite visible in the photograph of the scene.
Now keep an eye on it. This may be important.
Recall what we heard earlier about the victim Magnified Gramrye's schedule. Every night at 11 o'clock, Magnified took an IV drip for 30 minutes. I can see the IV bag right there, yes. Now look a little closer. Follow the tube down from the bag to the end. Ah! The needle's been removed. Doubtlessly it fell out when he was shot. That would seem to be the case. When the needle comes out, the IV no longer drips. Ah! You could just measure the remaining IV liquid. Precisely. The IV liquid functions for our purposes as an hourglass of sorts. This is how the doctor determined the time of death. From the amount remaining in the bag, it was determined that the IV had stopped 10 minutes after administration began. IV report added to the court record.
Approximately 10 minutes had passed since the IV began. And so it was. When I, Valent, entered that room...
Now, hold on. Let me just take a quick look at this. 30 minutes required to administer full IV. When the amount remaining in IV stopped 10 minutes after administration began. All right. I didn't know if they would say the color there.
10 minutes had passed since that horrible crime was committed. And this is proof.
Well, Mr. Wright? Did that seem important? Very important, every time. Well, seeing as how it's the biggest clue we have to the time of death, I'd say it's very important. Agreed. It would be hard to imagine a more precise way to determine the time. Behold the power of arithmetic. Very well. The witness will add this detail to his testimony.
Sometimes the most magical thing of all is the truth. The water of life springs not eternal. The remaining IV liquid proves my innocence.
Hold it! Did you notice the IV yourself by any chance?
When first I entered that room, the stench of gunpowder assailed me. Next, the mark of death upon my mentor's forehead. And then, his left arm I spy, arose, dropping and wilted.
Drooping and wilted.
Drooping and wilted. It's thorn, the discarded IV needle.
Now, hang on a second. What colors are roses usually?
Red.
Right. Knocked from the vein by the force of the shot. Luckily for you. If that IV had not been there, why, you might be a suspect.
Indubitably so. I might say it's thanks to my lucky color.
Your lucky color?
Uh-oh. Indeed. Even today, I wear it proudly upon my suspect self. For it always, without fail, brings me luck. Why, when Zack and Valent won their first Magician's Grand Prix, yes, the very one held by the Association of International Magicians, I was adorned this attire then too. And our trophy, a bust. Oh, what a day that was.
Ugh, this is one trip down memory lane no one needs.
My lucky color, yes indeed. And that IV too, I say. I think 'twas hued especially for me, Valent.
That does seem to be the case indeed. Well, Mr. Wright, any thoughts on this testimony? Valent sure looks happy with himself. Okay, how about this lucky color testimony?
There's a contradiction.
There's a contradiction. It certainly sounds like your lucky colors brought you plenty of luck. But not this time. Mr. Valent, your lucky colors betrayed you.
I'm afraid you've lost me.
Your Honor, the witness's testimony just now clearly contradicts the evidence. What? Please recall my warning at the beginning of this cross-examination, Mr. Wright. Baseless accusations will be duly penalized. I do hope this latest accusation is well based. Don't worry, I got all your bases right here. Very well, let's hear the defense's claim. Where is your evidence that contradicts what Mr. Valent has told us?
This one.
Take that. The crime scene tells all, Your Honor. The photo of the crime scene. All this talk of color is me yearning for black and white, clear-cut simplicity. Tell us, Herr Wright, just where is the contradiction in this photo? My pleasure, and I assure you it's quite simple. But I can't promise anything in black and white. Let's hear what Mr. Wright has to say. What in this photo contradicts the witness's testimony? Ba-da-ba-da-ba-ba. Take that. Valiant Gramrai, let's get one thing straight about your lucky color. It's yellow, yes?
Kind of takes the mystery out of it, but yes.
Something wrong with yellow, Mr. Wright? Yes, there is. Decisively wrong, in fact. Take another look at the photo of the crime scene. What's this?
Confusion, doubt. Tell us, what do your elderly eyes spy?
Even my elderly eyes can see a problem here, Mr. Valiant. Look at that IV bag.
Ah! What is this? What foul magic?
It would be hard to call the IV liquid yellow, and I'm afraid no magic was involved in the taking of this photograph.
Alakadu!
Jesus.
Rub, cheeseburger.
Order! Order! What does this mean? Objection! Einspruch. This is some kind of mistake. Yes, Prosecutor Gavin? Your witness's mistake. The greener they are, the harder they fall. I suppose there's no substitute for experience. Valiant Gramrai, as you reminded us several times, your lucky color is yellow, but the IV is clearly not.
Well?
This contradiction can mean only one thing. Einspruch. And to think, you almost had me. Huh? I see your true colors now, Ace Attorney Phoenix Wright. Something you'd like to tell us, Prosecutor Gavin? As far as this court can tell, the witness's testimony does contradict the evidence. Yes, a contradiction. One that I shall be pleased to hand right back to Mr. Wright. How do you mean? How? Because the witness has made no mistakes. I agree, at a glance, the IV liquid does appear a sort of greenish yellow, but I assure you, the liquid itself is quite yellow. Yellow liquid? How can you say that? As far as I can tell from this photo, it's green. Yes, but what color is the IV bag itself? The bag? I mean the plastic bag on the hook? Looks like I want to say light blue. Precisely. Figured it out yet. Put a yellow liquid in a blue bag and you get green. This, incidentally, is the liquid's true color. I see. Your explanation does have the ring of truth to it. Oh, come on, man. Objection! As I thought. There's no substitute for experience, Prosecutor Gavin. What? You may tell a good tale, but you've just proven something rather grave. For you, that is. Grave? The liquid in the IV is yellow, yes. But how did this witness know that? It's quite unnatural when you think about it. You did think about it, didn't you? I gotta hydrate. Your Honor, your defense requests an explanation from the witness. At the scene of the crime, the IV liquid appears to be green. So let me ask, how did the witness know the IV liquid was actually yellow?
Listen to that music.
Listen to this music.
Alakazam! Rubber, cheeseburger.
Order! Order! Mr. Wright, you will explain this at once.
Because you could see it was a blue bag?
Maybe. The witness clearly knew the color of the IV liquid, so I'm sure it means something, but what? I can think of only one possibility, Your Honor. The witness, Valiant Gramrai, has testified that the IV liquid was yellow because he'd seen it before.
Actually, no, wait. I'd say
he'd seen it before, or he knew its color. From the facts before us, the answer is clear. The witness knew that the IV liquid was yellow. Why? Because he'd seen it before, but not inside the blue bag we see in the photo. He saw the liquid by itself in a clear, colorless bag. I suppose he would have had to, but I'm still not clear as to what all this means. Ask yourself, why would he know? Ask yourself, why would he know if he didn't work at a hospital? That's where you'll find your meaning, Your Honor.
Objection!
Einspruch. I'm afraid I find nothing. So what if he knew the IV liquid's color? Leave the getting excited over absolutely nothing to our teeny bopper fans, yeah? Objection! The IV liquid is the only evidence proving the time of death. A 30-minute hourglass with 20 minutes worth of sand remaining. Your claim, Prosecutor Gavin. I remember it well. However, there's a critical difference between an hourglass and an IV bag. Wait, I know. An hourglass uses sand, but an IV bag uses liquid. I'm right, right? As much as it pains me to say this, Your Honor, no. Unlike the sands through an hourglass, IV liquid enters the patient's body, at which point, like magic, it disappears. However, what if the amount of IV liquid had increased? You couldn't tell, could you? After all, there's no way of knowing how much went in. Einspruch. Let me get this straight here, right? You're saying the witness watered down the victim's IV bag? Not with water, but with IV liquid. That's how you knew the IV liquid was yellow.
No, wait! I said wait! How might an amateur such as myself essay to perform such a task?
Objection! I'm an amateur too, but I could pour water into a cup. Einspruch. I'm afraid there's quite a big difference between a cup and an IV bag. Quite. Can you prove our witness is capable of such a feat? He has a point, amateurs. I at least would have some difficulty pouring IV liquid into that bag. You don't need to be an expert to see the look on the witness's face. He added liquid to that IV to throw off the time of death. I tire of these fairy tales lacking evidence. Well, Mr. Wright, any solid evidence to bring us back down to earth? Valet Gramrai, I'm afraid your magic won't serve you well in a life of crime.
Might I ask what you're strongly suggesting?
Magic relies on props, and props become evidence. Our witness was certainly able to increase the amount of IV liquid in the bag. All he had to do was work a little magic, and the prop was the insulin. It could be the insulin thing.
Yeah, the syringe.
Yeah, I figured. The victim's syringe is the perfect prop for the magically increasing IV trick, and easy enough for an amateur to use. Einspruch. What kind of evidence is that? The syringe was clean, not a trace of liquid in it. Objection! And don't you find that odd, Prosecutor Gavin? What? The victim had the syringe to administer his insulin shots. There should have been traces of insulin left inside. Oh, it was cleaned.
Oh.
Well, Valet Gramrai, as you pointed out yourself, the IV liquid makes the perfect clock. One that you could manipulate at will.
Alakazam! Cheeseburger. Well?
I do believe, well, with this being his first, that the burden of this trial has been a bit too much to bear for Prosecutor Gavin. I'm afraid that while there is doubt as to the amount of IV liquid in that bag, the time of death cannot be proven. And that brings our trial to a close for today. Well, maybe I can squeeze an extra day out of this. I can do a little much-needed investigation work. I see there are no objections. Court is objection. Icebrook, baby. Truly, there's no substitute for experience. Nothing blinds one to the truth so effectively. Huh? A word to the wise. Underestimate the young, and they'll sweep your feet out from under you in a way you never, ever expected. You see, I know exactly what you're thinking. Huh? What's he talking about? You say the witness used the syringe to manipulate the level of the IV liquid, but there is no proof. There's no proof he didn't do it either. Yes, quite true. Huh? He's admitting it? Nor was this witness quite as decisive as I'd hoped. This I admit. After all, why linger in the past when the future holds so much? You have something in mind, Prosecutor Cavan? Proof, Herr Judge. I have another way to prove my case. With evidence, no less.
Whoa!
What's this? This is the victim, Magnify Gramrye's diary. Diary?
Uh-oh.
After going into the hospital, Magnify began writing his memoirs, it seems. The story of his birth, his startling debut, and of meeting his disciples. It seems he intended for the last chapter to end, quite appropriately, with his death. Wait! That book doesn't say what the reason was, does it? The reason why his disciples couldn't refuse his last request? Sadly, it does not. What's important here is on the last page. Apparently, the victim wrote in his journal that night, even after the IV had begun at 11 p.m. Let's read it, shall we?
Huh? What about that page?
Oh. Tonight's IV is in, maybe the last. I leave the rest to them. The first should come soon. This journal may end here or may go on, but not long. That depends on his hand. All that is left to mine is to lay down this pen. Huh. This does appear to have been written just before his death. And check this out, right? Seems fate's clock will make me wait a little longer. At least only less than 10 swift minutes remain. To all those who have supported me in my life's work, I give thanks farewell.
Oh.
That doesn't seem to match. I wonder why they might have discovered that be a forgery.
I don't know. Who knows?
This does appear to have been written just before his death. The court accepts this into evidence. Magnify's diary added to the court record.
Memoir, so it's written up just before he died.
Read the very last part with particular care. This journal may end here or it may go on, but not long. That depends on his hand. Of course, by his, he refers to our defendant, Zach Gramrye. That would make sense, yes. He was the first scheduled visitor, after all. But look at what he said before that. This journal may end here or it may go on. It may go on. Magnify Gramrye intended to write again. That is, if Zach Gramrye didn't pull the trigger. I see the defense understands the meaning of this. The victim's diary does not go on. It ends. Because Magnify's life was brought to an end by the defendant, Zach Gramrye.
Cheeseburger.
Order! Order! Prosecutor Gavin! Are you certain that Magnify Gramrye wrote this? There's no mistaking his handwriting. Well, this does seem to be significant. According to this, Magnify did intend to continue his diary. Yet if his diary ended here, which plainly it did, then the one who pulled the trigger was the first visitor, Zach Gramrye. Well, how do you like me now, Herr Wright? Still too green for your tastes? He's right about the diary being pretty clear. Still, I find it hard to believe that he'd overlook such an obvious problem with his precious evidence. Well, Mr. Wright, the witness's testimony we heard was lacking, but put together with this evidence, it seems quite sufficient for a case. The diary is accepted like this, the trial's over. Maybe it's time for me to show them something. Show evidence. Oh boy. I'm left with no choice but to show my own evidence. What? You have some evidence that overturns this diary? It's not too late to rethink this and avoid more embarrassment. Holy crap, how right he is. Very well. Please show us your evidence, Mr. Wright. Incidentally, don't even think of showing us this diary I've just shown the court. Huh? Now that we've come this far, I hope you have something a little more decisive. Show us evidence that proves the victim continued writing his diary. All right, I'd be happy to. The decisive evidence proving that the diary didn't end with this page is this page. Take that! First, take a close look at this diary. Note that a page has been clearly ripped out. What's this? I hadn't noticed that at all. That's why we're still here talking about this. As it just so happens, I have here what I believe to be the missing page.
I don't believe it!
Looking at this page, it's hard to imagine that the first visitor that night shot Magnified Gramrai. That's the defense's position. Wait, let me see that. What in Sam Hill? Why, this is the continuation of the victim's diary. Well, so now we understand like what's going on here. So note the torn edge of the page. It's a perfect match with the torn remains of the last page in Magnify's diary.
Quite remarkable.
Would you care to explain what all this means, Herr Attorney? The diary continued after his first visitor came, which means that the victim was still alive after Zach Gramrai left, leaving no one to take his life but the second visitor. Valant Gramrai!
No! No!
The handwriting, too, matches that on the other pages. This is without a doubt the genuine article.
Cheeseburger.
Order!
But wait! That's impossible! That old man couldn't have written that!
Einspruch! Uh-oh. Finally. You just couldn't resist, could you, Herr Wright? Resist what? Presenting solid evidence? Herr Judge? Yes, Prosecutor Gavin? Might I request we put the current cross-examination on hold? The prosecution would like to call a new witness. But Prosecutor Gavin, this evidence overturns the current witnesses. I ask only to put it on hold. Please, my new witness has a very, very important piece of testimony to give. 5 minutes, no more. I promise, Your Honor. Well, if you put it that way, Mr. Wright, what's your take on this? Well, Your Honor, judging from his enthusiasm, we'll have to hear this new testimony sooner or later anyway. So might as well be sooner. Big mistake. Then, though this is highly, highly irregular, we will put the current cross-examination on hold. The witness may step down. Now, Prosecutor Gavin, please bring the surprise witness to the courtroom.
Oh boy,
Here we go.
Buckle up, boneheads.
I had a bad feeling just then. That ripped out page was too obvious. He must have known. And I should have known it was a bad sign all around. Oh.
Look who that is.
Look who that is. Holding trial with no audience is a first, even for me, Prosecutor Gavin. I beg the court's understanding. But I had to make a judiciary deal with the witness to secure his testimony. A judiciary deal? The details of his testimony may have some legal ramifications, shall we say. I thought it best to contain the information to this room. Very well. And you are the witness, I gather.
Yes, sir.
State your name and occupation for the record.
My name's Drew Misham. I'm a painter.
A painter? And you are somehow related to this case?
No, well, not per se.
I have one simple question for this witness. Mr. Misham, was it? Do you know what this is?
Oh, yeah. I know it well.
How's that possible? Have you seen this diary page somewhere before?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I made it.
You what? You made it?
Yes. You might call it one of my works.
The prosecutor's office received a tip-off yesterday. Illegal evidence has been prepared for the trial of Zach Gramry. Illegal evidence? I initiated an investigation and found this witness. A painter to the world at large. Drew Misham is another side, you might say. He is skilled in making perfect reproductions of certain things. Forgeries, in other words. Forgeries? Well, so we are to understand that this page here is a fake, prepared by a certain defense attorney. Objection! Hold it! I didn't prepare this evidence! Einspruch! The attorney speaks. Something about this page, I presume, but what is he saying? It makes no sense. After all, it was you who presented this evidence to us, Phoenix, right? Witness, Mr. Misham, was it? Who requested this forgery? Who was your client?
That, I don't know.
What?
Most of my clients prefer to remain anonymous, even to me. I make the items they want and receive my payment. That's the extent of my contact with them.
Objection! But there's no proof this is a fake.
It's a fake.
Huh?
To avoid just this sort of problem, I always put a special mark on my works. I can say, without a doubt, this is mine.
Oh my. Mr. Wright, you have just presented illegal evidence to this court. My court. Oh boy. It was careless of me. That's all I can say.
Misty,
So we're back. I don't know where she is.
is she,
She might have stepped away. Okay, we'll do this.
Oh boy. Here.
What's this?
I don't know. I just got it over there in the hall. He told me to give it to the old boy in a blue suit with the spiky hair. He said it was really important.
Who's they? It was all a trap.
Hello.
Hi,
Oh,
how
yes.
you doing? Sorry it took us so long, but that's okay.
down the mighty fall.
It was all a trap. A fatal trap. Mr. Wright? Yes? Do you have an explanation for yourself? If I did, would the court hear it? Probably not. Forging evidence is a serious crime, and presenting it in court, a serious mistake. A fatal mistake for an attorney. Fatal, too, perhaps, for your client, I fear. Huh? Tell me, what kind of defendant relies on forged evidence? The answer is quite clear. A guilty one! Objection! Your Honor, wait! I understand that presenting forged evidence in court is a serious crime, but you cannot hold my client responsible for actions I undertook as an individual. I am sorry, Mr. Wright. Your Honor, another close call, I dare say. If the prosecutor's office had received that hot tip, everything would have gone the way you wanted it to. Yeah? I even gave you a chance. Too bad you decided not to think before embarrassing yourself.
Ugh.
I see no need for further discussion on this matter. Special witness dismissed. Oh, boy.
Yeah. He's still here, though. Mr. Attorney,
Yes?
could I ask your name?
Huh? Phoenix Wright.
Mr. Wright, I have seen and studied many people, but none like you. I remember you, Mr. Wright.
Huh. What does he mean by that? Though I deeply regret having to declare a verdict in this way, this trial is over. You have the right to find a new attorney and make an appeal. However, this court must...
Your Honor,
yes, Mr. Zack?
there is one thing I wish to make clear. Today, in this courtroom, you cannot declare me guilty. It is impossible.
I'm afraid the defendant is quite mistaken. I most certainly have the authority to declare a verdict on you.
Except, tell me, how do you plan on announcing your verdict when your defendant does not exist?
Doesn't exist? What are you talking about?
I am talking about this.
What? What the hell? Mr. Enigmar! The defendant escaped. Find him, quick! Bailiff, close all exits from the building.
What the nerve? He's gone!
On the double, he must not be allowed to escape.
Oh, boy.
What a whoa. That day, in that courtroom, a miracle occurred. The defendant, Shady Enigmar, aka Zach Gramrai, did not just escape from court. He literally, unbelievably, vanished. Right before the bailiff's eyes. No one ever saw him again. Not since that day.
This is the Gramrai miracle.
Oh boy. No verdict was declared. After all, the defendant didn't exist. That's how it happened. The trial of magician Zach Gramrai vanished, along with him, for all eternity. The mysteries that remained behind were all solved, however, but not until 7 years later.
Oh, boy.
To be continued.
Looks like the perfect time to cut things off.
Yeah. Man, oh man. Save our current progress, obviously.
So now that we know what happened 7 years ago, how are we going to piece it all together to end this case?
Well, there's only one way to find out. Tune in next week.
That's right, or whenever we can.
Yep. So, for Misty Jin, I am the Cannonball Alex Steele.
I am the package, Andrew Steele.
We are the Steele Brothers.
And we are for real. Top guys
out.
Bye.
Ciao.
Adios, muchacho.